Happy 2021. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about creating intentions or manifesting or whatever you'd like to do in the new year. A lot of people like to create a list of things that they would like to do for the year. Almost at the beginning of every year, when we have the ending of something, we have this intention that we create for whatever it is that we want to bring in. And intentions are very, very powerful thoughts, words, lists that we create to try and bring into our reality what we currently don't have. And I have to say that for the most part, we tend to overcommit to these things and create massive expectations on ourselves, which take us a very long way for where we're currently at and can be quite tricky to navigate. And I'd like to talk to you about the idea of maybe trying to do it a little bit differently. This is not to say don't create these amazing goals. Absolutely. I think they're a fabulous idea. And I think the only way that we move forward in our lives is to create new, to bring in new stuff, to create an intention that we're going to do something different. And I 100% believe that we need to be doing that, but not necessarily just once a year, and not necessarily with this massive list and expectation that comes from it. So ideally, what we're looking at when we're creating intentions for our life is removing the need to do it from a place of should and do it from a cerebral place. Because as soon as we start creating lists and trying to do something from a cerebral place, as in just from our mind, it can become really, really tricky to actually see it all the way through and to create what it is that we're trying to bring into our lives. So there's a few different ways in which we need to create this sense of peace, and this sense of awareness and allowing in terms of intention, rather than writing a list and trying to figure out how we're going to do it. So the way that we do that is to create what we call a 0 point. And the 0 point is this very peaceful, very calm space in our heart where we can actually intend from that higher self perspective, from a completely open sense of how we deal with the world. And then we can create from a place of peace and a place from absolute integrity every single day. Because it's not about trying to figure things out in our mind. This is about creating a sense of absolute connection to ourselves, finding that place where we can start making intuitive heart decisions, but we're doing that without putting the pressure on ourselves. So sometimes you can even create it as an intention for the day. The intention for the day might be, I'm just going to maintain the highest possible vibration for myself. The intention for the day might be, I would like to find a new job. But rather than kind of creating it from a list perspective and then figuring out exactly what website we need to go to, we need to create the vibration around it first. Because if you haven't created the vibration around it, particularly if, for example, the job that you're going for is so different to what you've been doing, it's going to be really tricky for you to actually kind of manifest that and create that without having the energy behind it. So coming into the heart space, slowing everything down to create a 0 point energy, which is that point of creation. It's kind of that little bit in the middle that creates this massive kind of expansion. If you can kind of go into that place and recognize that place and create a sense of peace from that place, then your intentions become a lot clearer. They become a lot less noisy, but they can also then become a really interesting rudder for you. Because once you create that sense of peace and then you set an intention, if the intention's coming from your mind and not actually where your heart is desiring you to go, it's not going to feel great. If it feels peaceful, if it feels expansive, if it feels absolutely the direction that you need to go in, your heart will maintain that sense of peace or 0 point so that you can keep moving forward. So it's quite an exciting feedback system, but also a place for you to completely get your center and not be impacted. So the benefits of this 0 point is to remove all the noise around you. It's so that you can stay unaffected by events, by people, by the room, by wherever you're in. It helps you to maintain a sense of integrity to yourself. So you are going to be completely connected to your divine essence, to your I am presence. And then when you create intentions, your heart will give you direct feedback as to whether you're going in the right direction. So the heart in the middle, in terms of the chakra of the body, is where we kind of connect into that 0 point. We all have this kind of completely peaceful place in the center of our being where we can kind of go in, create that sense of 0 point, that point of creation, where we can then breathe, we can meditate, we can create a sense of peace in our bodies and use that as our rudder. And by rudder, I mean it's going to give you feedback at every moment of the day. And the more you can kind of go into it and stay there and create that as your place of being all the time, the more you're going to get that constant feedback and that constant sense of knowing whether you're headed in the right direction or not. So it's a very, very powerful practice, and it kind of takes away from the need to create long lists of what you should be doing. Because ultimately that's going to create usually a sense of overwhelm and, oh my goodness, where do I start? Rather than coming from a place of complete center. So the goal is get rid of the lists. The lists are not going to do it for you. What you need to do is create a sense of peace in your body first. Go back right into the middle of your heart space. You can do that through breathing or through my meditation class. You can create this sense of absolute 0 point, point of creation, so that you can feel complete peace in your body. And as you feel complete peace in your body, then you can place intentions. And the intentions, if they're headed in the right direction, will feel amazing. They'll feel expansive. They'll feel really good. If the intentions are not in alignment with your higher purpose, with your heart space, with your higher self, it's not going to feel great, and you will know it immediately. You'll get that feedback straight away, and it's not going to feel great. So then you can just say, okay, you can sometimes throw it out there if it's not working for you. What is my heart desiring today? What are my intentions? And just wait for the feedback to come back to you, because when you're at that 0 point of creation, everything is possible. Everything. You can completely detach from what's around you. You can completely detach from drama, and you can actually have a direct conversation with your intuitive link right in your heart center. Now, it sounds probably a little bit more tricky than it is. Ultimately, it's about getting really quiet and getting into your heart space. Deep breathing, meditation, going into nature, playing music, whatever it takes for you to get really deep and really present with yourself is super important. So good luck. I hope it really works for you. If you want to join my meditation class, click on the link, and I take you through a process where you learn it. And otherwise, spend some time just connecting in and knowing that from that deep point in your heart space, anything is possible. And as you get constant feedback from your heart, you will never be in overwhelm, because you will be able to just move and do those micro movements with your life anytime that you need to. So good luck. Happy 2021. Let's create really awesome stuff for ourselves. Take the pressure off and just allow our bodies, our hearts to guide us.